Ladies, listen up. The world tells you to be nice, to fit in, to wait for love to find you. But that's a lie. A high-value woman does not chase, she attracts. She does not beg, she chooses. And she does not shrink, she rises. If you want to command the respect, love, and success you deserve, then stay with me. Because today, I'm going to tell you exactly how to become that woman. The kind of woman who walks into a room, and the whole world takes notice. There's something dangerously beautiful about a woman who knows her worth. She walks into a room and people feel her presence before she even speaks. It's not arrogance, it's certainty. It's the knowing that she is not here to be chosen, but to choose. That she is not here to beg for attention, but to command respect. Yet too many women shrink themselves, handing out discounts on their worth like a clearance sale. Why? Because someone told them they were too much, too confident, too bold, too independent, too successful. But let me ask you, who benefits when you make yourself small? Certainly not you. Picture this. A woman sits across from a man at dinner. She is elegant, intelligent, and kind. She laughs at his jokes, listens to his stories, and brings warmth to the conversation. But when the bill arrives, so does his true character. He slides it toward her, smirking. You're a modern woman, right? Equality and all that? She pauses, smiles, and then says, oh, sweetheart, equality isn't me paying for dinner. It's you recognizing that a woman like me is an investment, not an expense. And with that, she stands up and walks away. That's a woman who knows her worth and adds tax. Because the truth is, life will always test you. It will throw people at you who will try to see just how little you will accept, how far you will bend, how many times you will let them cross the lines of respect. And every time you allow it, you silently tell the world, I am available for this treatment. But when you know your worth, you don't waste time proving it. You simply refuse to accept anything less. Think about diamonds. A diamond doesn't beg to be valued. It doesn't sit in a store window hoping someone will see its beauty. It just is. Rare, untouchable, and worth every penny. The ones who can afford it, the ones who understand its value, will pay the price. The ones who can't, well, they can admire from a distance. And yet so many women are like diamonds trapped in the wrong hands. Polished, stunning, but given away for nothing. A woman settles for a job that underpays her because she doesn't want to ask for a raise. She stays in a relationship where she's treated like an option because she fears being alone. She accepts friends who drain her energy because she doesn't want to seem difficult. But tell me, when did being difficult become a bad thing? Since when did demanding what you deserve become something to be ashamed of? Imagine this. A young woman is at work. She's been at her job for 3 years, outperforming everyone, taking on extra responsibilities, and proving her brilliance. Yet, when promotion time comes, her male colleague, who does the bare minimum, gets it instead. She could swallow her disappointment, accept her fate, and keep working harder, hoping someone notices. Or she could walk into that office, look her boss straight in the eye, and say, I know what I bring to this company, and if you can't recognize it, someone else will. That is knowing your worth. That is adding tax. When you truly understand your value, you stop being afraid of losing people. You stop explaining yourself to those who don't respect you. You stop feeling guilty for expecting more. And the best part? When you start treating yourself like a woman of worth, the world has no choice but to follow. Think of the most powerful women in history. Do you think they asked permission to take up space? Do you think they hesitated before demanding what they deserved? No. They owned their worth. They didn't negotiate their greatness. They didn't apologize for their success. And neither should you. Your time, your energy, your love. These are luxuries, not freebies. You are not a trial version that people get to test and throw away when they are done. You are the full package. The premium edition, the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And anyone who wants access to you needs to pay the full price. Picture a woman standing in front of a mirror, adjusting her dress before a big event. She takes one last look at herself and whispers, I am a force. I am a woman of standards. I am not here to impress. I am here to be remembered. And the moment she steps outside, the world feels it. Because when you finally realize just how powerful, valuable, and rare you are, everything changes. You walk differently, you speak differently, you choose differently, and most importantly, you never settle again. There is a power that very few people ever master. It is not in loud words, not in dramatic gestures, not in shouting to be heard. It is in silence. The kind of silence that makes people uncomfortable. The kind of silence that demands respect. The kind of silence that speaks louder than any words ever could. Most people waste their energy trying to explain themselves, trying to prove their worth, trying to argue their side of the story. But a woman who has mastered the art of silence knows that real power is in restraint. She doesn't need to tell the world who she is. She shows it. She doesn't need to beg for respect. She commands it. Imagine this. A woman walks into a room and instead of announcing her presence, she simply exists. Graceful, poised, unshaken. She doesn't rush to fill the silence with meaningless chatter. She doesn't force herself into conversations just to be noticed. And yet, people notice. They wonder who she is. They feel her energy. They sense her confidence. Because silence is a language only the strong can speak fluently. In a world that constantly pressures women to explain, justify, and prove themselves, there is nothing more powerful than a woman who chooses silence. A woman who doesn't argue with fools. A woman who doesn't react to disrespect. A woman who doesn't waste words where action is enough. Think of a queen. A queen doesn't scream for attention. She doesn't lower herself to pettiness. She sits on her throne, watches and decides. And when she does speak, every word is calculated, measured, and full of weight. That is the power of a woman who knows when to be silent. Picture a woman in a relationship. She catches her man lying to her. He starts explaining, over-explaining, twisting words, making excuses. She could yell, she could cry, she could argue, but instead she does something far more powerful. She pauses. She looks him in the eye. She lets the silence hang between them, thick with unspoken words. And in that silence, he realizes something terrifying. She is not going to beg for honesty. She is not going to fight for something that should have been hers freely. And that silence, it is louder than any argument she could have ever had. A woman who understands silence never chases closure. She doesn't sit around waiting for an apology that may never come. She doesn't replay conversations in her head wondering what she should have said. She simply lets it be. Because she knows that silence is an answer too. Think about nature. The ocean doesn't explain why it's powerful, it just is. A lion doesn't beg to be feared, it just is. And a high-value woman doesn't demand respect, she embodies it. Silence is also the greatest weapon against those who try to break you. They expect a reaction, they expect you to scream, to fight, to lose control, but when you respond with silence, they are left powerless. It frustrates them, it confuses them, it forces them to sit alone with their own guilt. Because nothing is more unsettling than a woman who simply walks away without another word. Imagine a workplace. A woman gets overlooked for a promotion she knows she deserved. She could complain, she could cry about the unfairness. Instead, she does something even smarter. She stays silent, keeps working, and within months she is so undeniable that another company offers her double the salary, and just like that her silence turns into her greatest victory. People often think silence is weakness. But real silence, the kind that comes from control, confidence, and wisdom, is the loudest thing in the world. It makes people listen when you finally do speak. It makes people respect your presence. And most importantly, it makes you untouchable. There is a reason why mystery is attractive. A woman who talks too much, explains too much, reveals too much, she gives away her power. But a woman who speaks when necessary and remains silent when needed, she is unforgettable. Imagine a social gathering. A group of people is gossiping, tearing someone down. A woman listens but says nothing. She doesn't join the conversation, doesn't feed into the negativity. And because she stays quiet, everyone wonders, what is she thinking? And just like that, she becomes the most intriguing person in the room. Silence is not just about saying nothing. It's about saying everything without speaking at all. It's the way you walk away from what no longer serves you. It's the way you ignore the ones who try to break you. It's the way you let them wonder what's on your mind. Because the truth is, When they don't know what you're thinking, they fear what you're capable of. Some battles are won not by fighting, but by refusing to engage. Some of the greatest moments of power come not from speaking, but from pausing. And some of the strongest women in history were not the ones who shouted the loudest, but the ones who spoke only when necessary. The moment you start chasing something, you are telling the universe that it is running away from you. And why would a high-value woman ever run after anything? A woman who knows her worth doesn't chase, she attracts. She's like gravity, effortless, undeniable, and impossible to ignore. She doesn't scream for attention. She becomes someone people can't help but notice. Imagine walking into a room and commanding presence without saying a word. You're not the loudest. You're not the one trying to impress everyone. But people feel your energy. They feel the confidence radiating from you. They want to know who you are. That's what it means to attract. You don't beg for people's time. You don't force connections. You don't try to prove your worth. You just exist in your power. And the right people, the right opportunities, the right energy, they come to you. Think about a queen. A queen doesn't run after a king. She holds herself in such high regard that the king recognizes her value and comes to her. A queen doesn't convince people of her worth. She simply carries herself in a way that makes them recognize it on their own. That is the mindset of a high-value woman. Picture a woman in love. She texts him first every time. She constantly asks when they can meet. She adjusts her schedule, cancels plans, and puts in all the effort. What happens? He loses interest. He sees her as too available, too eager, too desperate. Now imagine a different woman. One who is so busy living her best life that he has to fight for a moment of her time. She's not ignoring him. She's just focused on herself. And suddenly, he can't stop thinking about her. He wonders what she's doing, who she's with, what's on her mind. That's the power of attraction. People don't chase what's easy to get. They chase what they fear losing. If you make yourself too available, too accessible, too willing to please, people take you for granted. But the moment you step back, the moment you start prioritizing yourself, everything shifts. They start noticing you. They start valuing your presence. They start wondering why you are so unbothered, why you aren't trying so hard. And that mystery, it's magnetic. Think of a job interview. A woman walks in nervous, desperate to be hired. She says everything they want to hear, agrees to every condition, lowers her standards just to get the job. The company sees her eagerness and offers her the bare minimum. But then there's another woman. She walks in confident, knowing she is an asset. She doesn't beg for the job. She talks about what she brings to the table. She knows her worth and adds tax. And because of that, the company offers her more just to secure her. That's attraction. That's the power of standing in your value. The same applies to friendships. Ever notice how the people you chase the most are the ones who pull away? The more you try to prove your loyalty, the more they overlook you. But the moment you start living for yourself, the moment you stop checking in so much, the moment you stop being the one who always gives, suddenly they realize your absence. They start calling, they start asking what's changed. That's attraction. Even in the animal kingdom, the lioness doesn't chase, she waits. The strongest, most dominant males fight for her attention. She doesn't run after them. She doesn't beg for their time. She stands tall, fierce, unshaken. And because of that, they recognize her as the prize. That's the mindset of a high-value woman. Chasing is rooted in fear. Fear of being alone, fear of missing out, fear of not being enough. Attraction is rooted in power. The power of knowing you deserve more than breadcrumb. Think about the most successful women in the world. Do they chase after validation? Do they run after people who don't see their worth? No. They focus on building themselves. They focus on their purpose. And because they do that, people come to them. Brands want to collaborate with them. Powerful people want to connect with them. Opportunities flow to them effortlessly. That is the power of attraction. There is nothing more desirable than a woman who is so focused on her own happiness, her own growth, her own success, that she does not need anyone to complete her. She is already whole. She doesn't chase love, but love finds her. She doesn't chase opportunities, but doors open for her. She doesn't chase friendships, but the right people gravitate towards her. You do not need to convince anyone of your worth. You do not need to run after what is meant for you. You just need to stand tall, be your best self, and let the world come to you. Because when you operate at your highest frequency, everything that belongs to you will align with you effortlessly. A diamond is one of the rarest, most valuable treasures on this planet. Not everyone can have access to it. Not everyone can afford it. Your energy is no different. It is the most precious thing you own. Yet so many people give it away carelessly, draining themselves for those who don't appreciate it. A high-value woman understands that her energy is sacred and she protects it like a diamond. Because once it's wasted, it doesn't come back the same way. Imagine walking into a room full of people. Some of them uplift you, inspire you, and make you feel like you can conquer the world. Others drain you, criticize you, and fill the air with negativity. Now, if you were holding a real diamond in your hand, would you just throw it on the table for anyone to take? No, you would guard it. You would make sure it is in the right hands, in the right place, where it is valued. That is exactly how you should treat your energy. Think of a phone battery. You don't just leave your phone running with 100 apps open, wasting its charge on things that don't matter. You use it wisely, recharge it, and make sure it lasts for the most important things. But when it comes to our own energy, we allow toxic people, useless drama, and meaningless stress to drain us until there is nothing left for ourselves. A high-value woman doesn't operate that way. She sets boundaries. She knows when to say no. She understands that not everyone deserves access to her peace, her kindness, or her time. There are people who thrive on your energy, taking, and taking without ever giving back. You know who they are. The ones who call you only when they need something. The ones who unload their problems on you but never listen when you need support. The ones who constantly bring negativity into your life but disappear when you need encouragement. Protecting your energy means recognizing these people and distancing yourself. Not everyone deserves your light. Imagine a candle. If you keep lighting everyone else's fire while neglecting your own, eventually you will burn out. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give your best to the world if you are constantly drained, exhausted, and emotionally depleted. A high-value woman protects her peace fiercely because she knows that her energy is her power. And without it, she has nothing left to give. Think about a woman in a toxic relationship. She gives all her love, her kindness, her patience, and her strength to a man who only takes. She spends nights crying, overthinking, waiting for him to change. But in the process, what happens? She loses herself. She loses her glow, her joy, her peace of mind. A high-value woman does not allow this. She recognizes that anyone who constantly depletes her energy does not deserve a place in her life. Your energy is your currency, and where you invest it will determine what kind of life you create. If you spend it on things that elevate you, reading, learning, growing, surrounding yourself with positive and ambitious people, your life will flourish. But if you waste it on pointless arguments, meaningless relationships, and situations that drain your soul, you will always feel exhausted and unfulfilled. A diamond does not lose its shine just because someone does not see its value. It remains rare, priceless, and untouchable. Be like a diamond, protect your shine. Think about social media. Every day, people waste hours scrolling, absorbing negativity, comparing their lives to others, and feeding their minds with unnecessary drama. That is energy being wasted. A high-value woman understands that whatever she consumes, whether it's conversations, social media, or the people she surrounds herself with, affects her energy. She does not allow anything toxic to enter her space. She is intentional with her focus because she knows that whatever drains her controls her. Even in friendships, not everyone deserves access to you. There are friends who support your dreams, and there are those who secretly hope you fail. There are those who clap for you in public but envy you in private. A high-value woman discerns the difference. She does not entertain fake friendships or waste her energy proving herself to people who do not respect her. She walks away from anything that does not align with her peace, because she knows that her energy is too valuable to be wasted on those who don't appreciate it. Think about the most successful people in the world. Do they spend their energy explaining themselves to haters? Do they waste time in gossip, drama, or negativity? No. They focus on their purpose, their growth, their peace. They invest their energy where it truly matters. That is the mindset of a high-value woman. Your energy is the key to your success, your happiness, and your power. Protect it like a diamond. Guard it with everything you have. Because once you do, you will realize that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right life will align with you effortlessly. There is nothing more powerful than a woman who refuses to remain the same. A woman who looks at her life and says, "This is not where my story ends." A woman who wakes up every day with the mindset to be better than she was yesterday. That is the essence of leveling up. Refusing to settle, refusing to be stagnant, and refusing to let life pass you by while you watch others succeed. A high-value woman understands that in every area of her life, she has the power to elevate, transform, and become the best version of herself. Imagine walking into a gym for the first time. The weights feel heavy, your body resists, and everything seems impossible. But if you keep showing up, pushing through the discomfort and challenging yourself daily, something magical happens. Your strength increases, your endurance builds, and the things that once seemed impossible become effortless. Life is no different. Every challenge, every setback, every obstacle is a weight designed to make you stronger, but only if you push through. A woman who levels up understands that growth is uncomfortable, but staying the same is unbearable. Think about the most successful women in the world. Do you think they reach their level by making excuses, by waiting for the perfect moment, by hoping things would change without taking action? No. They leveled up because they demanded more from themselves. They invested in their skills, expanded their knowledge, and took control of their destinies. A high-value woman never waits for opportunities. She creates them. She does not sit around hoping for things to improve. She takes action. She knows that her future is shaped by the choices she makes today. A woman who levels up does not settle for mediocrity. She refuses to live the same year over and over again, calling it a life. She understands that if she wants more, she has to become more. That means investing in herself, whether it's reading books, learning new skills, taking courses, or surrounding herself with people who challenge her to grow. She does not waste time on things that do not serve her future. She does not entertain negativity, drama, or anything that keeps her stagnant. Think about your mindset. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you keep telling yourself, "I'm not good enough, I can't do this," or "I'll never be successful," then that is exactly what your life will reflect. But if you wake up every day with the mindset that you are capable, that you are powerful, and that you are worthy of everything you desire, your entire world will shift. A high-value woman controls her thoughts, protects her mind, and feeds herself nothing but greatness. Now let's talk about finances. A woman who levels up does not rely on anyone to save her. She does not wait for a man, a job, or a lucky break to give her financial freedom. She educates herself. She learns how to make money, how to invest, and how to secure her future. She knows that dependence is dangerous, and she refuses to put her financial well-being in anyone else's hands. A high-value woman builds her own empire. She does not shrink herself or apologize for wanting a luxurious life. She goes after it fearlessly because she knows she deserves it. A woman who levels up also elevates her standards. She does not tolerate half-hearted love, inconsistent people, or relationships that drain her. She does not waste her energy on someone who does not respect her, value her, or see her worth. She understands that love should add to her life, not take away from it. She chooses partners who match her energy, who inspire her to grow, and who appreciate her for who she is. She walks away from anything that does not align with the future she is building. Health is another area where a woman must level up. She understands that her body is her temple and she treats it with care. She fuels herself with good food, exercises regularly, and prioritizes her well-being. A high-value woman does not neglect herself. She knows that when she feels good physically, she operates at her best in every other area of life. She takes control of her health because without it, success means nothing. Think about your environment. The people you surround yourself with will either push you forward or pull you back. A woman who levels up does not waste time with people who are stuck in the past, complaining about life or making excuses. She surrounds herself with winners, with visionaries, with people who inspire her to be better. She understands that her circle is her power, and she chooses her company wisely. A high-value woman does not let fear stop her. She knows that stepping outside of her comfort zone is the only way to grow. She takes risks, embraces challenges, and faces her fears head-on. She understands that every great woman before her had to overcome doubt, failure, and setbacks. But she also knows that those who keep going are the ones who make history. She refuses to let fear control her, because she knows that everything she wants is on the other side of it. Leveling up is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about waking up every day with the intention to be better than you were yesterday. It is about choosing yourself, investing in yourself, and refusing to settle for a life that does not excite you. A woman who levels up knows that she was not born to be average. She was born to be extraordinary. There is power in knowing when to walk away. Not just walk away, but walk away like a boss, with grace, with confidence, and without looking back. A woman who knows her worth never begs, never chases, and never stays where she is no longer valued. She understands that walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate display of strength. When you walk away from something that no longer serves you, you are telling the world, I deserve better, and I will not settle for less. Think about a queen on a chessboard. She moves with precision, with power, and with intention. She does not waste her energy chasing pawns. She does not stay in a position where she is trapped. She strategizes, she elevates, and when necessary, she removes herself from the game entirely. That is exactly how a high-value woman operates in life. She does not waste time trying to prove her worth to those who refuse to see it. She does not explain her standards to people who were never meant to meet them. She simply walks away and lets her absence do the talking. Imagine you are in a relationship where you constantly have to fight for attention, for love, for respect. You send messages that go unanswered. You make effort that is not reciprocated. And you keep hoping that one day they will change. But deep down you know the truth. They will not. And the longer you stay, the more you betray yourself. The day you decide to walk away, something shifts. Suddenly the same person who ignored you is chasing you. The same person who took you for granted is now realizing your worth. But it is too late. Because when a high-value woman walks away, she does not come back. Walking away is not just about relationships. It is about every aspect of life. It is about knowing when to leave a toxic job that drains your soul. It is about stepping away from friendships that are built on jealousy and competition. It is about removing yourself from any space where you are constantly disrespected, undervalued, or made to feel small. A woman who knows her power does not stay in situations that diminish her. She does not tolerate half love, half effort, or half respect. She walks away with her head held high, knowing that her value is non-negotiable. There's something incredibly powerful about a woman who does not beg for attention, love, or approval. She knows that real respect is never demanded. It is inspired. And if someone does not see her worth, she does not waste her time trying to convince them. She simply removes herself. Because a woman who truly values herself understands that rejection is simply redirection to something greater. Picture this. You are in a meeting at work. You have brilliant ideas. You contribute. You bring value. But you notice that your voice is constantly overlooked. You see your ideas being dismissed. Yet when someone else says the same thing, suddenly it is recognized. A low-value woman would shrink, would try harder, would seek validation. But a high-value woman, she knows her worth. And instead of staying in an environment where she is unappreciated, she finds a place that sees her brilliance. She walks away and she walks into something better. Walking away is a mindset. It is the realization that your energy is precious and not everyone deserves access to it. It is understanding that some people only respect your presence once they feel your absence. It is knowing that every time you choose to walk away from what no longer serves you, think about the most iconic women in history. Did they beg for a seat at the table? Did they stay where they were disrespected? No. They created their own tables. They built their own empires. They walked away from mediocrity and into greatness. Because they knew one thing for sure. When you refuse to settle, the universe has no choice but to give you what you truly deserve. There will always be people who test your boundaries, who see how far they can push you before you break. But a woman who knows her worth does not break, she walks. She does not fight for a spot in someone's life. She does not argue for respect. She does not explain herself over and over again to people who refuse to listen. She values her peace too much. And when she leaves, she does not do it with bitterness. She does it with power. Walking away like a boss means you do not entertain disrespect, you do not lower your standards, and you do not cling to things out of fear of being alone. It means you trust yourself enough to know that what is ahead of you is far greater than what you are leaving behind. It means understanding that sometimes the best revenge is no revenge at all. Just walking away and letting success be your response. A high-value woman walks away not because she is weak, but because she is strong enough to choose herself. There is something undeniably captivating about a woman who does not reveal everything at once. A woman who moves with quiet confidence, who speaks less but says more. She walks into a room and people feel her presence before she even utters a word. She is not desperate for attention, yet all eyes are on her. She is not loud, yet people hang on to her every word. This is the power of mystery. A high-value woman understands that not everything needs to be explained. Not every thought needs to be shared, and not every emotion needs to be exposed. She guards her essence, and in doing so she commands respect, curiosity, and admiration. Look at the most iconic women in history. They never laid all their cards on the table. They never tried too hard to be understood. Instead, they let the world wonder. They let people guess. Because mystery is power. It keeps people intrigued. It makes them want more. The moment you become an open book, you lose your allure. When people feel like they know everything about you, they stop being interested. But when there is always something about you that they cannot quite figure out, that is when you become unforgettable. Imagine walking into a party and seeing two women. One is talking non-stop, oversharing details about her life, desperate to impress everyone in the room. The other is calm, composed, offering small glimpses into her world but never revealing too much. The first woman might get attention for a moment, but the second woman, she will be remembered. People will wonder about her, they will want to know more. And that is the power of mystery. It draws people in without you having to chase them. Mystery is not about being cold or distant. It is about being selective. It is about understanding that not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your plans, your emotions. A high-value woman does not announce her next move, she just makes it. She does not seek validation. She knows who she is. She does not explain herself. She lets her actions speak for her. This is why a woman with mystery is irresistible. She does not give people the satisfaction of figuring her out too easily. She keeps them on their toes. She keeps them guessing. Think about relationships. When you reveal too much too soon, you lose your power. When you are always available, always explaining, always predictable, people take you for granted. But when you maintain an element of unpredictability, when you do not respond to every message instantly, when you do not overshare your feelings, you create intrigue. And intrigue is what keeps people invested. A woman who is too available loses her value. A woman who is too easy to read becomes ordinary, but a woman with mystery, she becomes unforgettable. In the workplace, the same rule applies. The woman who constantly seeks approval, who over-explains her worth, who tries too hard to prove herself, she may be noticed, but she will not be respected. The woman who moves strategically, who lets her work speak for itself, who does not reveal her plans prematurely, she is the one who commands power. Because people respect what they do not fully understand. They admire what they cannot easily grasp. The more you talk about your ambitions, the more people will try to block you. There is a reason why luxury brands never scream for attention. They do not flood the market. They do not beg to be noticed. They maintain exclusivity, and because of that, they are desired. A high-value woman operates the same way. She does not chase, she attracts. She does not force, she allows. She does not beg, she decides. And this is why she always stands out. Even in friendships, mystery holds power. The woman who shares every detail about her life with everyone will eventually find her words used against her. But the woman who chooses her confidants wisely, who does not disclose everything to just anyone, who keeps certain aspects of her life private, she is the one who holds the upper hand. People may try to gossip about her, but they will never truly know her. They may try to bring her down, but they will never have enough ammunition. Mystery is about control. It is about knowing what to reveal and what to keep to yourself. It is about understanding that your value increases when you are not easily accessible. Think about the ocean. Deep, vast, full of secrets. People are drawn to it because of its mystery. The same applies to a high-value woman. The more depth you have, the more people will want to explore you. The less you reveal, the more they will want to know. Most people talk too much. They share their dreams with those who secretly wish to see them fail. They explain themselves to those who were never meant to understand them. They give too much too soon and wonder why they are not valued. But the woman who masters the power of mystery, she moves differently. She does not let just anyone into her world. She does not hand out her energy freely. She lets people earn her attention, her time, and her trust. And that is what makes her powerful. A woman of standards is a woman of power. She does not beg for love, she does not settle for less, and she does not allow anyone to disrespect her. She walks into a room and you can feel her presence. Not because she is loud, but because she is certain. Certain of who she is, certain of what she deserves, and certain that she will never compromise just to fit in. A woman with standards does not lower herself to meet others. She elevates herself so that only the worthy can rise to her level. She understands that people will only treat her the way she allows them to, so she sets the bar high and watches who is willing to rise. Look at the world around you. The most respected people are those who demand respect first from themselves. They do not tolerate nonsense, they do not entertain games, and they do not waste their time on people who do not align with their values. A woman with standards operates the same way. She does not go where she is not valued, she does not chase people who walk away, and she does not give unlimited chances to those who show her their true colors. She walks away when she is not appreciated. She stands firm when she is tested. And she never ever compromises her worth for temporary validation. Think about relationships. A woman with standards will never accept half-hearted love, mixed signals, or empty promises. She does not wait by the phone for a text that may never come. She does not accept breadcrumbs when she knows she deserves the whole cake. She does not tolerate disrespect just to avoid being alone. Instead, she sets clear expectations. She makes it known from the start. If you want to be in her life, you must be consistent, you must be honest, and you must show up fully. Because she is not interested in almost, in maybes, or in potential. She wants real effort, real commitment, and real love. A woman with standards does not fall for words. She pays attention to actions. A man can say all the right things, but if his actions do not match, she will not waste her time. She does not play detective, she does not beg for the bare minimum, and she does not wait around for someone to change. She understands that if she has to force it, it is not meant for her. She knows that a man who truly values her will never make her question her place in his life. This applies to friendships too. A woman with standards does not keep toxic people around just for the sake of having company. She does not tolerate gossip, jealousy, or betrayal. She surrounds herself with people who inspire her, support her, and genuinely want the best for her. She does not entertain those who drain her energy or bring drama into her life. She protects her peace like it is sacred, because it is. If a friend repeatedly shows her that they cannot be trusted, she does not give them endless chances. She walks away, knowing that she would rather be alone than in bad company. In the workplace, a woman with standards does not let people walk all over her. She knows her worth and she does not hesitate to demand it. She does not overwork herself for little recognition and she does not stay silent when she deserves more. She does not accept being underpaid, underappreciated, or overlooked. If she knows she deserves a raise, she asks for it. If she knows she is being mistreated, she addresses it. And if she realizes that a workplace does not value her, she has the courage to leave and find something better. She does not settle in any area of her life. Whether it is in love, friendships, career, or personal growth, she is always aiming higher. She does not get too comfortable in places that no longer serve her. She does not allow herself to shrink just to make others feel comfortable. She is constantly evolving, constantly growing, and constantly leveling up. And that intimidates those who are stagnant, but she does not care. She was never meant to fit in. She was meant to stand out. A woman with standards does not let emotions dictate her decisions. Yes, she feels deeply, but she does not allow those feelings to make her settle. She does not let loneliness push her into the arms of someone who is not right for her. She does not let fear keep her in places she has outgrown. She does not let temporary emotions cause her to make permanent mistakes. Instead, she stands firm in what she knows she deserves, even when it is difficult. She is not afraid to say no. No to relationships that drain her. No to friendships that are one-sided. No to opportunities that do not align with her values. No to anything that does not serve her highest good. And the moment she starts saying no to the things that do not serve her, she makes room for the things that do. She creates space for better love, better friendships, better opportunities, and a better life. She is not desperate for approval. She does not need validation from the world because she validates herself. She does not need everyone to like her because she is not for everyone. She does not change herself to fit someone else's idea of what she should be. She is her own person and she is proud of it. People will test her. They will try to push her boundaries. They will see if they can get away with treating her less than she deserves. But she does not waver. She does not lower her standards just to keep people around. She does not allow temporary loneliness to make her settle for something beneath her worth. She would rather wait for what she truly deserves than accept anything less. She understands that having standards means not everyone will be able to meet them. And that is okay. Because the right people, the ones who truly respect and value her, will never ask her to lower them. They will rise to meet them. And that is how she knows she is a woman of worth. When you master your emotions, you master your life. The person who controls how they feel, how they react, and how they respond is the person who holds the real power. Because emotions are like waves, strong, unpredictable, and sometimes overwhelming. But if you learn how to surf instead of letting them drown you, you become unstoppable. Imagine a situation where someone disrespects you, belittles you, or tries to provoke you. Most people react instantly, anger flares up, words are thrown, and suddenly they are controlled by their emotions instead of the other way around. But a person who has mastered emotional control does not give their power away so easily. They do not react. They observe. They take a deep breath, process the situation, and decide how to respond in a way that serves them, not destroys them. You see, emotions are powerful. They can build or break relationships, create opportunities or ruin them, make you strong or make you weak. A person who cannot control their emotions will always be at the mercy of the outside world. If someone says something rude, they get angry. If things do not go their way, they break down. If they face rejection, they question their worth. But when you control your emotions, you control how much power the world has over you. Think about the strongest people in history, the greatest leaders, the most successful individuals, the most influential minds. They all had one thing in common. They did not let their emotions dictate their actions. They felt deeply, but they acted wisely. They understood that reacting in the heat of the moment often leads to regret. So instead of exploding in anger or drowning in sadness, they learned to pause, reflect, and then respond with strength and wisdom. Imagine you are in a relationship and your partner says something that upsets you. Your immediate reaction might be to lash out, to say something hurtful in return. But if you do that, what happens? The argument escalates, words are spoken that cannot be taken back, and before you know it, you have created more damage than the original problem. But if you take a moment to breathe, to understand your feelings, and to communicate calmly, the situation changes. You control the direction of the conversation. You turn conflict into connection. The same applies in your career. Let's say your boss criticizes your work. You feel defensive, embarrassed, maybe even angry. A person who lacks emotional control will react instantly. They might argue, quit on impulse, or allow that moment of criticism to ruin their whole day. But a person who has mastered their emotions will pause and think, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to improve? Instead of letting emotions take over, they use the moment to grow, to evolve, to become better. Look at friendships. Have you ever seen someone ruin a beautiful friendship because they acted out of jealousy or insecurity? They allowed their emotions to dictate their behavior, and in doing so, they pushed away the people who cared about them. But a person who understands emotional control does not let insecurity speak for them. They communicate, they listen, they approach situations with clarity instead of chaos. When you control your emotions, you do not let temporary feelings make permanent decisions. You do not allow fear to stop you from taking risks. You do not let anger burn bridges that could have led you to greater things. You do not let sadness trap you in a place of despair. Instead, you feel everything, but you choose what to act on. That is power. Think about the dating world. So many people chase love out of loneliness. They allow their emotions to make them settle for less than they deserve. They mistake attachment for connection. But when you are in control of your emotions, you do not chase, you attract. You do not fall for just anyone because you feel lonely. You wait for the right one because you know your worth. You do not allow heartbreak to turn you bitter. You allow it to make you wiser. Emotional control also means knowing when to walk away. It means not allowing your attachment to blind you to red flags. It means understanding that sometimes love is not enough if respect is missing. It means having the strength to say, I love you, but I love myself more. You cannot control what happens around you, but you can control how you respond. You cannot stop people from hurting you, but you can stop them from breaking you. You cannot erase difficulties from your path, but you can decide how you face them. And that decision, how you handle life's challenges, is what separates the weak from the strong, the ordinary from the extraordinary. Mastering your emotions does not mean suppressing them. It does not mean pretending not to feel. It means allowing yourself to experience every emotion fully, but choosing how you express it. It means crying when you need to, but not drowning in sadness. It means feeling anger, but not letting it destroy relationship. It means acknowledging fear, but not letting it stop you. The person who controls their emotions holds the key to their destiny. They are not swayed by external forces. They are not puppets controlled by their environment. They move with purpose, with strength, with unshakable confidence. And that kind of power, there comes a moment in life when you have to stop waiting for inspiration to strike. Stop looking outside for validation and start becoming your own muse. The world is full of voices telling you who to be, how to act, and what to dream about. But the moment you realize that the only voice that truly matters is your own, that's when everything changes. You don't need an idol to show you the way. You need to look in the mirror and see that the power, the brilliance, and the fire you've been searching for has been inside you all along. Imagine a painter standing in front of a blank canvas. She could wait for someone to tell her what to create. She could search for approval before picking up the brush. Or she could trust herself, let her hands move freely, and create something that comes from within. That is what it means to be your own muse. To stop looking for inspiration outside and start recognizing that you are the source of everything extraordinary. Too often, people put themselves in the shadows, waiting for someone else to shine a light on them. They admire others, follow their journeys, and dream about becoming like them, never realizing that they too are capable of greatness. But the ones who truly rise, the ones who create legendary lives, are the ones who look within and say, I am enough. I am the source of my own inspiration. Think of the most powerful women in history. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't sit back and wait for the world to tell them they were worthy. They declared it themselves. They carved paths where none existed, not because they had examples to follow, but because they believed in themselves enough to lead. That is the energy you must carry. Imagine you are in a room full of people and you feel out of place. Maybe you think they are smarter, more successful, more confident. But what if instead of shrinking yourself, you walked in with the belief that I am the masterpiece in this room? What if you stopped comparing and started realizing that no one else has what you have? Your mind, your experiences, your essence, no one else can replicate that. When you embody that mindset, you become magnetic. You stop seeking approval and start commanding attention just by being unapologetically yourself. Being your own muse means creating the life you want instead of waiting for it to happen. It means waking up and deciding that you are the main character of your story, not the supporting role in someone else's. It means dressing, speaking, and moving through the world in a way that excites you, not in a way that pleases the crowd. Think about fashion. Some women wear what's trendy because they are afraid to stand out. Others, they wear what makes them feel powerful. They don't need a magazine to tell them what looks good. They already know because they trust their own taste. That's being your own muse. Living according to what you love, not what the world expects. The same applies to love. Too many people look for someone to complete them. They wait for a relationship to bring them happiness, for a partner to make them feel beautiful, for love to give them purpose. But a woman who is her own muse doesn't wait for love to validate her. She loves herself so deeply that anyone who comes into her life is simply a bonus, not a necessity. She is already whole, already fulfilled, already radiating confidence, and because of that, the world is drawn to her energy. Think about success. Most people wait for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right motivation. But the woman who becomes her own muse does not wait. She creates. She wakes up and pushes herself to be better, not because someone told her to, but because she refuses to stay the same. She sets standards, challenges herself, and elevates her mind every single day. While others hesitate, she takes action. While others doubt, she believes. And that is why she wins. Even in times of struggle, a woman who is her own muse does not crumble. She does not seek sympathy or approval. She does not beg for attention or validation. She rises even when no one is watching. She rebuilds herself even when she's broken. She wipes her own tears, fixes her own crown, and walks forward as if she never stumbled. That resilience, that fire, that determination, that is what makes her Some people spend their lives admiring others, wishing they had what someone else has. But the truth is, you are the one worth admiring. You are the one who can inspire, who can create, who can lead. You don't need to look at someone else's success for motivation. You need to look at your own potential and realize how powerful you already are. A masterpiece does not look around for validation. It does not seek approval. It simply is. And so are you. You are not born to blend in. You are not put on this earth to play small, to seek permission, or to wait for someone else to recognize your worth. You are here to own your life, to command your space, and to create a legacy so powerful that the world has no choice but to remember your name. The moment you stop searching for external validation, the moment you stop seeking approval, is the moment you unlock your true power. Because a woman who validates herself is a woman no one can break. A woman who inspires herself is a woman no one can control. She is the kind of woman who walks into a room and doesn't need to announce her worth. Her presence does it for her. You must remember, no one will hand you the life you dream of. No one will come and crown you the queen of your own destiny. That is something you must claim for yourself. You do it by believing in yourself so deeply that doubt has no place in your mind. You do it by standing so firmly in your standards that no one dares to test your limits. You do it by refusing to settle, refusing to shrink, refusing to let this world tell you who you are supposed to be. Greatness does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who decide they are worthy of it. And you, right here, right now, have the power to make that decision. To stop letting your past define you. To stop allowing fear to dictate your choices. To stop giving your energy to people who do not deserve it. The second you make that choice, everything shifts. You have seen diamonds. They are precious, rare, untouchable. Do you know why? Because they do not beg to be valued. They command it. They do not chase admiration. They attract it. That is the level of self-worth you must embody. You must move through this world with the certainty that you are the prize, that you are the masterpiece, that you are the standard. Never forget, your energy is your currency. Protect it like your most valuable asset. Your peace is your power. Do not let anyone disturb it. Your confidence is your armor. Wear it like a queen. The minute you realize that you are your own muse, that you are the source of your own greatness, is the minute you become untouchable. There will be people who do not understand your power. Let them watch. There will be people who try to dim your light. Let them fail. There will be people who cannot handle the woman you are becoming. Let them go. Your job is not to make others comfortable with your greatness. Your job is to be great. And when the world asks, who does she think she is? Stand tall, look them in the eye and say, I am the storm. I am the fire. I am the force that cannot be stopped. Because once you step into your power, once you truly own who you are, the world will have no choice but to rise to meet you.